people that have them and that are bad people that shouldn't have them.
So let's get the legal perspective on stop and frisk, or a Terry stop, as it's known in many jurisdictions. Wiehl is our Fox News legal analyst. Bob Bianchi is a criminal defense attorney, former head county prosecutor and trial attorney as well. You bring some personal experience to this, Bob, because you used to be an EMT in the inner cities, some of the worst neighborhoods of Newark, New Jersey, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, I worked in professionally as an EMT, the amount of violence. And what I try to say with people is that you have to use the rule of reason with these things. Out on the street where you see these gang violence happening, it's a lot different feel that you have, even as an attorney, when people are shot and killed and mothers are wailing and there's blood all over you. And these young men who are being slaughtered in the prime of their lives because of the crime problems that are plaguing the city. And as a prosecutor, one of my jobs was to balance these interests and having proper interdiction in order to eradicate the crime so that people could live in a safe community, which most of these people want to do, and having aggressive yet constitutional law enforcement practices. And I think that we were able to achieve that with strong intelligence-led policing, sometimes stop and frisk, using a dashboard of crime where we need to go in aggressively, but also working with the community groups. So they always understood the context of what we were doing, and then escalation and de-escalation when that crime problem was abated. So stop and frisk has a valuable law enforcement component to it, but what this judge said was that unfortunately 90% of the people being stopped under the policy in New York did not have any contraband or have any weapons, and that we needed to reverse those policies to make stop and frisk more tailored towards the people, articulable suspicion, as they would say, under the law. And I agree with that.
So what does the law say about when is this allowed?
Can we clear up the constitutionality issue?
Right. Lester Holt just, we just played that clip of Lester Holt saying it's unconstitutional in New York.
No, let's just clear that whole issue up if we could right now. The Terry stop, the stop and frisk issue, decided back in 1968 in an 8-1 decision by the Supreme Court,
overwhelming, is
constitutional, okay? That is still constitutional. It is still the law of the land as a policy. It is constitutional. It is the way that it is applied that can be unconstitutional. If it has a disparate impact, basically a disparate impact against racial minorities, if there is a racial profiling which is going on, which is what was found to be happening here in New York by this judge, then the way it is applied can be held to be unconstitutional, right? But not the law itself. The Terry law, the stop and frisk law, has not been found to be unconstitutional as a law. That's the difference.
Yeah, and I think that what happened here is you have to understand when Terry came out, it was saying that stop and frisk is an appropriate legal practice. This has been in law for 50 years. What happened was that some police departments like NYPD had organized stop and frisk, not on individual bases, like what was going on with Terry.
Right.
And what this judge said, and I read this decision, and the judge was not anti-police. She just basically said that indirectly it is having a far disparate impact on 90% of the law-abiding citizens in these communities. And I'm not saying that's this is something that got really confused in these debates.
Right.
She did not say stop and frisk is unconstitutional.
As itself.
As the manner in which it's being applied.
Exactly.
And here's what we can do to try to clear it up. She put a monitor in place. Let's have a pilot program, body cams.
People be watching. Exactly.
So that we know that there's not abuses of this, because we can't allow it to be a wholesale way to just search people.
Reasonable suspicion is a big part of this law.
It can't just be, I think something, you've got to have an articulable suspicion that something is going on, that there's an illegal activity that's going on right then and there. It just can't be, I just don't like the way that guy looks. It's got to be something more than just a hunch. I mean, you know, and there have been many, many law cases that have been litigated about what that is, that articulable suspicion that a police officer has.
Well, New York City Mayor, former Mayor Rudy Giuliani, given wide credit for bringing down the crime rate in the city along with his police commissioners. He's written an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal today about the legality and the intricacies of stop and frisk, so I would urge viewers to see that. Wiehl, Bob Bianchi, thank you.